On today's Roundup, Loki is a villain once again, and he's stirring up outrage on Reddit for AI-generated imagery. Plus, the latest AI tools are taking a play out of Ursula the Sea Witch's book and trying to steal our voices. And Meta rolls out a new AI sticker generator on its Messenger platform, and you've got to see some of the unhinged things that it's generating. All right, what up, everybody? Welcome back to AI Roundup. I'm your host, Phil Buck, and before we jump into it, just some things I want to tell you about happening on the MSP Media Network last week and later today. Last week, we had a new episode of The Tech Bar with special guest host Alex Boyd back in the house and special guest Trevor Thomas of Zen Contract. If you missed it, you got to go watch it. It was one of the best episodes of The Tech Bar we've had in quite a while. It was hilarious to watch, and I think you're going to have a great time. Also, on Friday, an episode of 38 at 38 debuted, and this was featuring my homie, Ashley Gordon. And it is a outrageous story that you're going to get from Ashley, so make sure you go check that one out as well. And then later today, we're going to be having a new episode of Partner First with our new host, Dean Trempelis. And he's going to be talking to the folks at Help, discussing improving customer experiences and relationships for growth. That's at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, so first up, I've got an AI alert for you, but let me hit it with the Uno reverse card. Yep, that's right, because this started out on Reddit about a week ago with people trying to call out Disney for using AI-generated art in the latest social media ads for Loki Season 2. I checked out the subreddit. It seems like it's specifically a subreddit about AI tools and controversy surrounding that. Anyway, a couple of different articles started showing up in my news feed yesterday, and so I had to check this out. And I just want to say to all the Redditors and I'm going to say it, the ambulance chasing reporting from The Verge and the creativeblog.com. I love both of them, but I think, to me, when I read these, I just got to say, y'all need to calm down. And I'm sorry, because while I do support defending creatives' jobs and their opportunities, and I want to shut down the plagiarism happening, I think this story is a pretty big dud. The biggest red flags from everything I read on Reddit and other articles is simply that the AI image in the poster seems to be based on stock photos in the Shutterstock library that themselves are AI generated. I think it's kind of ironic that we're covering a spiral that's going down and repeating, where it seems like the nature of the story itself is the same way. It's hard to say for sure. There's no official comment out there yet about where this art came from, so we don't really know if it is AI generated or not. It definitely looks like it. People on Reddit are pointing out that it has the telltale sign of meaningless squiggles as an indicator that this is AI generated. But they also note a lot of other things that point to the fact that this was definitely used by a designer, that the entire image that you see for this Loki poster is not entirely AI generated. So for me, this is just outrage for outrage's sake. I think it's good when people are pointing out, hey, these models are using, sources that it says it's not using or it's not supposed to use. That's a good use of your time. I also think when people's job opportunities are being lost, that's another big one. But like we saw with a previous Marvel story about AI generated intro pieces from their show Secret Invasion, it was once again, the creatives that were going to do this work anyway, they just happened to use AI tools. So it wasn't like somebody's job opportunity was lost because they used AI. It was the people that were doing the job anyway were using these AI tools. And that's what we're going to see more of all the time. And I think it's a good thing. I think that we need to see less of the outrage. So Redditors, calm down. And The Verge and Creative Block, sorry, you could have reported on this differently, I think. All right, for today's AI Roundup, I wanted to talk about a subject that we've actually covered in past episodes, and it was just for fun. But this week I saw two different articles that really highlighted the fallout from the rise of AI voice generating tools. So first off, I read an article from Business Insider Companies like Meta are willing to pay celebrities up to $5 million for just 6 hours of work to lend their likeness and voice to AI chatbots. And while that sounds like a nice deal for those handful of celebrities, on the flip side, voice actors are finding their voices are being cloned without their consent. In an article from Forbes, I saw many different situations where people were having their voices cloned for memes and stuff like that, where also people were seeing that, hey, they weren't being asked back for things like reshoots on projects, even though their employers were saying, we don't want to use AI tools, or they agree that, oh, you didn't sign up to use an AI tool when you did this job. And yet the article says that these folks were not brought back to do their job. While your face or your fingerprint, they have legal protections, your voice doesn't have the same safeguards. So companies like 11 Labs, backed by big names like Andreessen Horowitz and Google DeepMind, are at the forefront of these technologies, and they claim they require explicit consent for voice cloning. But the enforcement of this rule is questionable. I mean, honestly, there really isn't any enforcement. You can just go on the services and put anybody's voice in there. And of course, you can say you have consent, but what's stopping you from lying? Nothing. And we've even seen some, scams where people are using cloned voices to, pull classic scams, and they're just tricking people because they think they're talking to somebody they're not. So this is where it comes down. Like, personally, I don't think AI voice generators are at the point where they can replace really good voice actors. I've been using them on my own voice for the show, and they have the ability to replicate your voice, but it can't match the emotional delivery and the nuance of the way a real person speaks. At least that's my opinion. Nonetheless, it's pretty clear that there are some major pitfalls to navigate ahead as Meta rolls out more of these AI assistants based on people's likenesses, and tools like 11 Labs become more and more mainstream. And just as a little extra icing on the cake for this story, here's my simulated voice from 11 Labs. Let's see how it compares to the real me. Hey, what's up guys? Phil Buck here, host of AI Roundup, and I'm excited to be back with you for a whole slew of stories about AI-related technologies. In fact, I'm using AI right now to generate this voice. What do you think? Does it measure up to the real me? Or am I going to be out of a job soon? All right, so for today's use case, of all things, this came to me by way of a Twitter screenshot on Facebook. Facebook has rolled out a new AI sticker generator for Messenger, WhatsApp, and Instagram. The generator uses Meta's Llama 2 large language model, and it is currently in limited release. So for this story, I do have access to it, but I'm checking with some of my friends. I've seen that there's definitely a large number of people that don't have access to it. So if you do, please, by all means, let me see what you can get it to make. Several stories out there that I picked up on this as well to just get more information, and it's telling us that, early users have found that the content safeguards are not very effective. The tool has generated inappropriate or offensive content, including likenesses of famous people in compromising situations. Yes, those are the things that we always love to see AI generating image engines do. Meta has attempted to block certain words and text prompts, but users have found ways to bypass these restrictions. For me, I could not get it to generate Guy Fieri. As soon as I put in Guy Fieri, it just disappears. There's no options. But if you want it to generate things that are explicit that it thinks it shouldn't, like nudity or something like that, it's pretty easy to make it work if you just misspell the word. And if you try it enough times, it'll actually get through. I saw a ton of hilarious examples, some of which I don't think I can actually show on this video. I think it's okay to put them on Twitter, but YouTube probably is not going to let me get away with it. So I will just share up some of my favorite examples from, for some reason, Twitter. Why does the Facebook content end up being shared so much on Twitter? Anyway, of course, you can go check this out yourself, so I'm not going to show you too many, but I did make sure to go play around with it and get a few of my own, so you're getting the original Phil Buck touch on this particular take. So the feature is still being tested and is available to a limited number of users in English-speaking countries only. Once again, if you can use it, jump on the MSP Media Network Discord, show me what you're able to get it to make. I get a real kick out of these, so I will be sure to generate a few more that I'm not showing you here on the show, and we'll drop them over there in the AI Roundup channel. All right, guys, that is our AI Roundup for today. Like I said, be sure to join the MSP Media Network Discord. The link is in the show notes. We have the QR code on the screen. Follow us on social media at MSP Media TV everywhere. The email is news@mspmedia.tv, and you can leave us a voicemail at 833 MSP Network. Before I go, I just want to let you know that next week I'm going to have a very special episode where I'm going to try to rank every single AI image generating platform out there that I can get my hands on. We're going to unpack what they do, what they cost, how good they are. And then that is going to be my last episode in these long form podcast style AI Roundup episodes. After that episode, I'll be returning from vacation, and we're going to try some new stuff here where we're going to break up these little segments of the show into their own videos. So I hope you'll stick with me. Check out those videos. Let me know which ones resonate with you more. I think it's going to be fun to be able to focus on one thing and keep it short and sweet. Let you see how to use Stable Diffusion, or something like that, a new extension in Stable Diffusion, something like that, and just hit it and quit it. Anyway, this has been your October 11th episode of AI Roundup, and I'll see you next time.
This has been a broadcast of the MSP Media Network.